Welcome back to the creators commentary of Lemmings United, and we finally reached the last rank, well, not the last rank in terms of difficulty, the Genocide rank. We still got the bonus rank to cover afterwards, which I think will now be settled down to the current number of levels, and any additional contest levels or so will not go into that anymore and rather be, well, used in a future pack maybe. But anyway, first we will do the Genocide rank in the usual order, like 10 levels per video, the last one being 11. And for the bonus rank, I think I will do, we've got 33, so maybe 8 per video, and the last one being 9. Anyway, the first level for today is named Crawler, and this has a reason. It basically means nothing, just in terms of a word, but it's related to a level in a Boulder Dash clone called Bernie Boulder. And the first level of the space region there had the password Crawler, and it's roughly oriented at the layout of that level, very, very roughly. So, order here, we turn around the first lemming and platform this gap up. There are a few variations for the start, but I think, yeah, they shouldn't differ too much from the intended solution here. With the fourth lemming here, we are going to mine. One lemming here just marches over the top. The second one bashes, so he turns the third lemming around. The crowd is temporarily held in. Guy at the top platforms in a way that he stops right at the edge here, and so he can climb up over the top. This guy platforms here, so when the miner tunnel breaches, the lemmings can land onto the platform. When the basher breaks through, he then platforms towards this area, climbs over the top. And the main thing here, this guy just falls to his death. We cannot afford to waste any more platformers here. And he will bomb as he falls, so the lemmings can later go up that ramp. Here, there's a little bit of terrain. In order to land safely down here, only one lemming can do that with digging through this little terrain platform here. So the first lemming that lands simply digs, he falls down and will survive. Other lemmings that would follow here would simply splat. He needs to then platform up this gap at the bottom, while the climber platforms up this gap so the crowd can land safely onto here. As the exit area is not yet safe, also this would be a splat fall, as there are still all traps there to disarm, and we need to get the disarm up skill first. But we already made the ramp here for the lemmings to walk up. So we can simply bomb here, they can all walk into the hole of the pickup skills, get the disarmer and the platformer. Then the last lemming here can dig and disarm the traps before the crowd arrives. And that's it. So there's a lot of multitasking to do at the start, but it isn't all too precise, so that should be alright and not the biggest deal. But you must see that you need help from above to get towards the pickup skills. Also distribution of the lemmings in this area to make a safe pass for the crowd. Also, the music that's playing is from that space region of the Bernie Boulder game I was referring to with that level. So we've got another connection there. The next one, Down Rising. Okay, we've got a nice little machine level here. Only a limited number of skills and a very basic level layout. You've got those beams of steel and terrain, and you simply need to get down to the exit. But there are quite a few tricks involved here. I think there are some minor variations on the solution here, but nothing too wild. We stone in the middle to create a platform for the lemmings. Have one guy fall through, and at this level we make him a glider and clone him. The guy up here will platform towards that big platform here, so they can turn around and land in this area. This guy will then create a stack. This is not a random position, as you will see. Down here we will bomb to create a position where they can turn. And we will mine up here and clone the miner. This miner now will save two purposes. One lemming will simply walk past and die. The left miner will create a place where the lemmings can turn, while the right miner will create a hole directly upon the stacker. That's the one precise part in here. As this will normally not be a survivable fall, but with the stacker they can land safely onto this platform. All that's left to do for the glider down here is to create a bridge towards the exit. Let's see, everybody lands safely. And the long line of lemmings can now make its way to the exit. So it's an easier level, but not the easiest, I would say, as you still need to figure out some nice tricks here. The next one, you gotta party hardy. And we've got no time, we can lose 3 lemmings. And as you can probably see from the starting screen, we got a lot of way to a vertical way to traverse down. At the start we simply block the lemmings in with 2 blockers and have 3 lemmings going towards the left. One will stone, one will block, and that creates a nice little turning platform for the 3rd lemming, so he can bash towards the right. That way he releases the 2 blockers for the crowd, also holding the block in, and then we will bomb, and we are now at a position where 1 bomber is enough to break a hole here. And the whole crowd will now land onto that updraft, get another stoner pickup skill, and the basher can traverse further to the right and platform across this gap without the crowd falling and splatting. Now make him a climber. Goes all the way down here, collects another platformer and also another, a walker pickup skill. He will turn around at this wall. And we will bash all the way across here, low enough that the crowd can walk up if the basher reaches its position. Right here, and we platform across and bash further. We have no more bashers left, and there's a little hole. So the blocker we place at the very start, we now release with the walker. And this line is exactly in a way that the stoner now creates a nice little place for the basher to continue. The crowd is coming back, but this is still enough time to place the last 2 platforms. And that's it, the crowd can walk home. So the level is mostly figure out the start. Trap in the crowd temporarily with the blockers. Set this up so we can later drop a stoner into that little hole and release the blockers from the crowd again. And this makes it low enough that 1 bomber can safely position the crowd in the updraft holding pit. And the next one, marble, stone and iron breaks, which is named after an old German song, where it just simply the pronunciation of it. It's called Marmor, Stein und Eisen bricht. So marble, stone, and iron are simply I'm now forgetting words. Marmor, Stein und Eisen. So, this way. Okay. But now. We've got 3 hatches at the start. All 3 of them walking towards their doom, and we need to deal with that. This crowd we can simply block in. As well as this crowd. And also down here we need to use a blocker. We will let one lemming pass who can then prepare a builder at this location. But as we need to save everybody, all of those 3 blockers need to be released later. We send 2 climbers ahead towards the right. And we dig down here. And this digger needs to be precisely placed so that it makes a 1 pixel dent into the left wall. This is still enough that the digger will stop after he breaks through here. Also, the second climber is timed in such a way that he still lands in the digger pit, but then will still fall through and not walk into the trap. This way, now if a lemming climbs up from the left, he will get in this little dent here still. And the digger will also not continue and simply create this platform later. One lemming will climb over here, the other one mines and will turn around when he hits steel. And this lemming will dig right when he leaves the steel. The miner that turned around will then proceed to bash when he lands into that little notch here we created. The digger at the bottom will use the fact that you can still assign skills to a digger that has just broken through terrain, and he will be assigned a builder. And that builder is now aligned in such a way as we digged right after we left the steel that any lemmings falling from up here will land on the builder, turn around and land on the steel down here. If we would dig further left, then we would not be able to land down here anymore. Lemming down here can simply bash. Here the lemming the basher releases the crowd and the blocker and continues its journey. First lemming here then needs to build across half to the halfway point, then he will turn around. The basher, when he reaches the end up here, will build towards the upper left. The last lemming freed from this crowd, that was a blocker I think, will bash through the one-way wall and build the second bridge from the right. This will happen before the crowd turns around and drops into the walker. Right when this builder is finished, we will then proceed to mine from the top left. The miner will release the blocker, go over all 2 bridges and also release a second blocker down here. And in the process free the crowd. Right, down here we simply assign the bash of the builder from the right. The crowd can walk through, turn around and then walk towards the exit. We have 1 builder left, which will be used to build towards up here, so the crowd can walk towards the exit. And that's it. So it's all how to release all the 3 crowds who had been pinned down by blockers. And to do that most efficiently with only, yes, 2 destructive skills. Now let's count the digger towards that as well. It needs to be used to set up this basher. Okay, skip ahead as there's a little bit of walking to do. Next one, googly-eyed coffins, which will include quite a few clams. Okay, we've got 2 hatches, and the exit is positioned in the bottom right corner. In order to get to the exit, the bottom crowd will simply use the bottom pass, but for the upper crowd there are 2 paths, and one path is a red herring. As for the bottom pass, you will always be 1 skill short to dig down here and land in the updorps. You need to take the upper pass, and for that you need the disarmor to get past all those clam traps. But you need to use the disarmor at the bottom to disarm those traps. So you need to realize that the bottom pass here is a red herring, and you need the disarmor from below at the top. And well, how to do that I will show you. First we fence up here and also assign this guy a climber. As before he makes his way to the top, he needs to disarm all the bottom traps. Bashes through here, already prepares the way a bit for the crowd. Puts that secondary. He builds up to here. We release the fencer with the walker in order to be able to walk up here. But the next guy will break that again with the digger, so we only got 1 worker lemming up here. He will platform across. This guy here will simply disarm more traps. He continues his bridge, will then proceed to bash through here. Down here, he will then build up. He will hit his head and turn around. This way we also create this platform for the crowd when they go through the upper pass. This guy here will continue to platform. As when we assign a climber to the disarmor and he climbs up all this way, he will not end in the trap up here, but rather hit his head on the platform. But still we need to catch him. For that we assign a climber here and prepare another platform lower, at a lower place. I also release the crowd here with the basher. They can all simply walk towards the exit. Climber is timed in such a way that he exactly catches the climber disarmor. Now we've got a climber and a climber disarmor. The climber will climb over the bottle here, patches up this little gap with a platform and turns around. So the disarmor has now enough time to disarm all those traps. And with the last basher, we then bash the crowd out. And that's it. So the most difficult part here is to see the right pass and don't fall for the red herring here. And on the other side figure out how to bring that disarmor up. And also realize that, well, the disarmor has to be on the 2 areas at once. Timer is struggling to get behind, but well. Alright, the next one. Chanson de automne. This is French, I cannot read French, but this simply means Song of Falling, which is also named after a track I used in this pack. Is it the same that plays on this level? No, I think I changed it because another track was... Let's see, let's simply go in. Don't worry about the pronunciation. I'm not the right person for that. Yes, it's the same. It's a song with the same name as the level. It's from Risk of Rain. When you want to check out that game, at the start, the crowd comes out at a very high release rate, and we simply bash through here to make everybody but the basher turn. Basher will then be assigned to disarmor. The disarmor was not in this level originally, that's a backward fix. And all these traps up here are just to ensure that only the disarmor can be up here. Okay, we then dig down. And the disarmor falling from up here has a reason. He needs to fall into the digger hole. And then he will be stoned. So he makes a nice little step up for one lemming, who then can build up towards this location with only one builder, as the stoner provides the extra height needed here to reach that position. The digger was also facing towards the left. This way the crowd will all... you need to position the digger here, so the crowd will all spill out towards the right. And the digger will be the only one facing left. That's important. Also, this guy on the top will become a climber. Here we simply bash through, so nobody walks into the fire spinny thing here. So we've got two worker lemmings and a little bit of leeway before the crowd. We will fence through here. And build over this gap. The climber will then turn and mine, so the crowd and the worker from below can join up. It's also positioned in such a way that we will turn around on the steel. And we bash through this little turnaround point. Climber will continue to go up here. Crowd will take the lower pass. We'll then prepare a builder at this location. Crowd will now overtake the builder. And the builder will make the perfect platform for the climber coming from the top to build towards this location. Also now got a nice little circle here. Bash through. Climb over the top. And use the same trick again from the stock. A faller from above will stone and make a nice little step up for a builder. The crowd will go another round, while the worker lemming that was lagging behind the crowd will prepare the builder. And he has enough time. And everybody can go safely to the exit. The climber will be doomed anyway here, as we will simply climb up into the fire spinner. So nothing's lost here. And that's it. So it all has a little bit to do with timing, position skills correctly to make some step up tricks and so. And the next level, brain dead mummies. This was a hard level to backward fix. Took a lot of one-way walls, a few pickups, and well, all sorts of stuff. You will glide at the start with the second lemming to pick up that cloner pickup skill. Stone in the middle of the air to make a safe fall for the crowd. Clone one lemming. Turn this guy going forward around as well with a walker. We need two lemmings here. Stone here. Stone again to make a safe little turnaround point. And then the glider will come back down. And then he then bashes through all of this. You need to make this long basher in order to proceed, as you have got very limited destruction skills. Oh, the start is rather hectic. Okay. Now this is also thin enough in order to bomb through, so the second to last lemming will bomb. So the last guy can fall through. The crowd is positioned now directly above the exit. But they can't simply go through here. They need help. We pick up another bomber pickup skill from down below. Make him a climber and a glider. We now glide down. Clone the glider, and the cloned lemming will then stone. As he was cloned, he is lower at that position, and when we come back here again, we can land on the stone and proceeding towards the top here. He'd use that trick again. Clone and stone. You can reach this part. You then clone once. Clone again to have 2 lemmings going forward. One will stone immediately when falling down to create a little step up point again, as in the last level. Then glide down. And just as he turns around here, we will stone at the wall. So this glider can land on the stoner and bash. And now he is right in the middle of this terrain piece, and so he can simply bomb in the middle and create a hole that's breaching through all of this, so the crowd can walk towards the exit. The most critical points here are figuring out the start that you need to get all the way through, gather the crowd here, and maneuver your way cleverly through here with gliders, cloners and stoners. And yes, this took a lot of backward fixing. The next one, Pitch Black. Where is the replay? There it is. There are a few variations, and also one which I think don't use... yes, I think there's one variation that doesn't use a bomber. But it's heavily relying on timing then, so it's an accepted alternative. As I don't want to enforce that timing, as I'm not the biggest fan of timing. I have a few timing levels, but... well, I don't like the overly use of timing stuff. We build across here, makes the second guy block, he will be positioned right under this drop. And we need to get up through here. We bomb the first guy, stone the second, and as this is a little ramp here, and the stoner's positioned low, the next guy can step up. He will then stone, so the next guy can turn around and the stoner and simply step up to here. So we made it up here with only a bomber and 2 stoners. Here we will simply continue to build up. Yes, this is a bomber that holds back the crowd and doesn't make this a level heavily reliant on timing. This guy will simply bash and platform through here. We'll then send a climber from the crowd, and the guy dropping down will drop down in such a way that he releases the blocker, but not bombs through this little platform here, so the crowd doesn't drop towards the death. Platform across here. Glide towards this location. We send another climber glider and another climber. Goes through here. This is not the path for the crowd. This is just red herring. You will be not be able to make it through there with your skills. Send another climber. Platform up this gap. The gliders can then land up here. Bomb at the very top, so they make a little dent in here. We'll also bomb a guy in here, so makes a dent in that location. This guy will then platform up this gap. Next guy here will prepare 2 platforms, one down here, and an upper one exactly at the location where the terrain check of a basher will be. As we now bash and clone. No, we don't have cloners here. This would also be a good place for a cloner though. But the cloner would make other backwards, so I did not include it here and rather give another basher. We simply bash towards the left, bash towards the right with the guy trapped in here. And we will now be here at such a come out at such a location where we land on the little sheriff shield here. So everybody can walk towards the exit. Guy bashing towards the left will now release a crowd with a well-placed bomber. Can all step up through here now. And yes, just walk towards the exit. So this level has all sorts of tricky little things. Going through here with only 3 skills, releasing the blocker from above with a bomber. And this little red herring here that you need to indeed go through the very top. Alright. The second to last level for today, laboratory evacuation. You only got 2 minutes here, this will be a quick one. But there's a lot of things you need to do in here. And yes, I stated that I don't like timing, but I've still got some timing levels, and this is one of them. We trap the crowd in here with 2 blockers, have 1 guy walking towards the left and 6 guys to the right. This guy will be made a climber and a swimmer, so he picks up those pickup skills. We trap 1 lemming in between 2 blockers here. I gave little markers where you need to do something with blockers, so the timing isn't as frustrating, and you've got little landmarks you can use to navigate here. There are laser traps up here, so you can't simply platform across. You need to do it in a specific way. We bomb here, platform with the other 2 guys, and the platformers are a little bit out of phase, so the second platformer will platform inside the first and turn around as a result. He will then bash backwards and release all the blockers in the crowd. Platformer will platform under those traps, will also become a climber. And a swimmer. We now release the first crowd here, consisting of 3 lemmings. We will build over this little water gap as, so the later crowd will not drown. We dig here and dig at the other 2 locations. And this is timed in a specific way, as you will see. Crowd has been released. They all will become swimmers. Okay, we need to bomb the first guy, so the crowd can now step up through here. This is timed in such a way that the crowd can slip past those diggers before they breach through and walk towards the exit. And all the guys remaining are all climbers and swimmers, as we've got 6 of these. And they can also all walk towards the exit. Just in time. Need to do this in one shot. But it shouldn't be that difficult to do because of the little hints I left where you need to position your blockers. And the last level, where secrets sway. I think this also got quite far in the level of the year contest, as I recall. This is also a level that was inspired from a Lemmings +1 level called, I think it was Coal Miner. And the left part of the level is, well, inspired by that level. It's not exactly the thing you do there. I added a thing or 2. You bomb with a 3rd guy, so you've got 2 lemmings walking to the right from the left. And this guy lands exactly in the way that he can bash through all of these. You then bomb the next guy falling down here, so the guy coming from the right can glide into that little hole, make a builder's platform, and we then turn around the builder with the next guy falling from the top to save that glider. We need to have a glider here. And then we simply proceed to gather up the crowd here. The bottom crowd is simply safe. Okay, with the second to last guy here, we bomb. So this guy falling here can make a little dent with a bomber inside that one-way wall. After that we can make the basher a glider, and when he finishes bashing, he will glide in such a way that he lands into that little hole here and bashes through the one-way wall. We then bash out the crowd with a normal lemming. The glider will then be released and lands into the water. We've got two swimmers. The two gliders will be our swimmers. When this guy breaches through the one-way wall, he makes one little step, as in the war level complex, so I use that trick again. As one builder is barely not enough to cross this gap. So when we build from the top here, we will leave a little hole and we will all land into that slab here. I bash out the crowd with a basher. Bash out the crowd with a basher. That second basher was a bit redundant. The gliders will land here. I will also release this guy with a walker, so he can become a swimmer and walk towards the exit. Pick up two... yes, I can do that because I picked up the first walker pickup skill here. The last glider will block here. As the crowd will normally just drop down onto this little piece of terrain here and walk into the water. You cannot simply block down here, as then the crowd will simply face through the blocker. But now, as we've got a blocker here, they will turn around in mid-air as they pass through the blocker's blocker field while falling. After that, all that's left is to release a walker with the last walker, and that's it. So again, the very left part of the level was inspired by Namida's coal burner level, not coal miner. How do I get to coal miner? I don't know. And yes, you need to know that trick from the complex levels, from the war rank, and also that blockers can turn around Lemmings in mid-air. Anyway, that were 10 more Lemmings United levels, and next time we continue. Until then, have a nice day.